Hey, it's Emily Williams, the founder of I Heart My Life and your host of the I Heart My Life show. This is episode 121, Behind the Scenes with the I Heart My Life team. So today's episode is a really special one. I actually have a huge portion of my team, not the whole team, but a lot of people here with me today for an in-depth conversation about what it really takes to run a seven-figure business. And this all started with me having basically a breakdown last year and feeling like I was drowning, feeling like I could no longer continue on in the way that I had been showing up, been running the company, been delivering to my clients, and just recognizing the huge need for additional support. And so since that point in time, we've hired about 10 different people and have other contractors as well within our company to support us in going to the next level and serving our clients in an even deeper way and obviously having more impact in the world. So today you're going to meet my director of operations. You'll meet James, who's my husband and our certified high performance coach on the team, my head of marketing, one of our tech VAs, my executive assistant, our Instagram specialist, and some of our other coaches who support our clients on a daily basis. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So get ready. It's going to be a fun conversation. And I think you're really going to learn a lot about what it takes to create a powerful team dynamic and understand why honesty is always the best policy, even in those challenging moments when you don't want to have the difficult conversations. And of course, we're going to give you some insight into the inner workings of our team, as well as some fun facts about everyone that are always, interesting to hear. So let's go ahead and dive into the episode. This episode is sponsored by our I Heart Money Workshop. Go to iheartmoneyworkshop.com to learn more. This is an incredible 2-day event where I support you in going deeper with your own money blocks that are stopping you from creating the wealth that you desire and deserve. I talk to you all about the universal laws that will help you make more money than ever before and break through all the barriers that are keeping you stuck and broke. You're going to get the chance to learn from my expert coaches who are joining me to talk more about making money through high performance, through marketing, through team and processes. You're also going to be able to network with some incredible like-minded women who have big dreams and the desire for even bigger bank accounts. This 2-day experience is something that's going to be completely transformative. It's going to help you make more money than ever before, and it's a not to miss event to set yourself up for massive success in the months and years to come. So go to iheartmoneyworkshop.com and claim your spot for 75% off using the promo code INSIDER for being a member of this incredible I Heart My Life show community. So again, iheartmoneyworkshop.com, use the promo code INSIDER, and I'll see you there. Hey everyone, it's Emily Williams here, and I am joined by my entire team, which we're super excited about. We have the entire I Heart My Life team here today with you to just basically have an open conversation about what it takes to run a company of this size and be completely honest about some of the growing pains that we've experienced and are currently experiencing, of course, as we continue to scale and continue to, just serve more and more people. And also, of course, talk about our mission and why this company matters so much to all of us. So welcome to the I Heart My Life team. Thank you guys for being here. Okay. So I'm going to kick it off and just take it back to last year at this time. And James, before I start this conversation, why don't you introduce yourself and tell everyone who you are and what you do in the company?
Yeah, so my name is James Williams. I'm not only Emily's fantastic husband, but I'm also a certified high performance coach. I got certified in 2015 after leaving a 12-year corporate career in television. And since then, been a massive part of I Heart My Life. And really what I do is I work on what I call the business of you, which is your internal systems and structures, because quite often in business, people are working so hard on their business systems and structures, they forget that they must grow as well. And so that's a really important thing that I like to focus on, not only so that they can perform at higher levels, but so that whilst building a business, you can still have fun, you can still have great relationships and enjoy the journey, which is a forever journey, really. And so that's what I do, whether it be group coaching or one-on-one coaching, as part of this team. And it's a real pleasure to be surrounded by all these amazing ladies, not only that we work with, but on the team here as well. So I'm very blessed.
And we're going to play a little game later on around who's more likely to, and you're the one most likely to give a 5-minute answer, correct?
Yes. 5 minutes is short.
So the reason I wanted you to introduce yourself, obviously, is because you've been with me every step of the way. And I remember last summer at this time, I remember standing in our bathroom in London, just like sobbing. And literally there were days where I was on the bathroom floor and I just couldn't even function. And I kept telling you, I felt like I was drowning. Mm-hmm. And I think that happens to a lot of business owners when you move forward, you create something that you're super proud of, but then you fall into the trap of literally doing everything on your own. And it's hard to even see, to get your head above the water, let alone see how you could hire somebody, how you could pay an entire team, how it would even work, how would you train them, what would that mean for your role? So can you talk a little bit about kind of being on the flip side of that and what you were experiencing?
Yeah, I mean, it's totally in alignment with what I do, right? It is seeing how, as I'm learning and growing as a high performance coach, seeing how important that work is, because seeing you as someone who works harder than anyone I know, is more dedicated than anyone I know, yet we're struggling to physically and mentally keep up with your own visions. And so on the flip side, I was seeing that and experiencing some of that myself, and understanding that I think one thing that people forget is what it requires to start a business is very different to what it requires once you're there and it maintaining and growing. You've got to have the hustle in the back pocket for sure. But as you grow, it's really important to understand that that's not the way you should live and run your business all the time. That then there's an opportunity to start to learn to trust, to delegate, trust team, to make mistakes and grow with you. And it does feel like, and I saw from my perspective looking at you, you feel like you're letting go of your baby and trusting other people with it, right? But that is really what's required to grow, because it's multifaceted and none of us are experts at everything. And it takes a lot to then understand, okay, where do I really want to sit? Where's my area of mastery to continue to develop? And what areas can I just view from an outside perspective and trust someone else to follow through with, along with my vision. And it's a constant learning curve, right? And I always describe this as that kind of growth edge, that there's never it's not just like there's one tough decision that we make. There's a whole mountain range of growth edges that we go through. And so developing the ability to move through that and honor the struggle is what this game is all about. And now I see that you are so grateful for having the support of these amazing, strong women who aren't afraid to bite back and say, nope, that's how I think we should do it another way, which is what we need.
Totally. Thank you for sharing that. And the second, longest running team member we have here so far is Ashley. So welcome, Ashley. Can you talk a little bit about your role?
Yeah, sure. So I actually celebrated 2 years with the I Heart My Life team last week. So it's been, there's been a lot of changes and growth and pivoting over the last 2 years, as there has been with my role. So I started on the team 2 years ago as a VA. I'm still a VA. I moved into the lead VA role. I'm the client concierge for a number of programs. So I support all the amazing women that Emily and James and all the incredible coaches and all of us support throughout the programs. And now I sit in a project management executive assistant role, really helping to streamline more of the back end businesses and systems so the business can continue to scale with ease and we can continue to support in the largest capacity.
Amazing. Yeah. And so something you pointed out is you're doing a lot of things right now, and then we're in the midst of hiring somebody else to kind of take off some of the things on your plate. And I just mentioned that because I think sometimes we think it all has to be cookie cutter. It has to be perfect. And the fact of the matter is business is messy and transition is messy and figuring out roles can be messy, but you kind of just have to dive full speed ahead into it and figure it out, like that analogy of building the plane as you go. And of course, obviously, we can all be reading the books, we can be learning from mentors, but like none of us are born knowing how to run a 7-figure company and figure out all the different components. And frankly, I don't think any one company is the same. And so what one person might need might not be what we need. And so I'm super grateful to Ashley for you in particular, because you've had to pivot and be the person who's like, oh yeah, I can figure that out. I can do it. And no big deal. And I know that hasn't been easy. And I really appreciate your connection with the clients, and you're always there for them and supporting them every step of the way. And so when we found you, it was like, oh, okay, awesome. This is what it can look like. Because I think for so many years, we had people who were just kind of dipping in and out of the company, and it was fine for the time being. But as you grow, you want people who are really committed and they're willing to get their hands dirty, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's an honor. I mean, I'm definitely not afraid to get my hands dirty. Yeah, and I mean, it's an honor to support the amazing clients that I Heart My Life works with and with this team. And it's been a wild ride, but it's been a great wild ride. And I can't wait for the next 5, 10, 15 years.
And then that brings us to Megan. So like I said at the beginning of this story, I was at this point where I was doing way too much. We had Ashley, we had James, we had a couple of other people, but it wasn't enough. And so I felt like I needed that person who is the go-to. And I actually had a friend, Mariah Cause, shout out to Mariah if she's watching or listening, who she had an operator or an integrator, whatever you want to call it, in her company. And her name was Megan. And she's like, Emily, what are you doing? You need a Megan. You need a Megan. And so James and I just started putting feelers out there, reaching out to any connection we could think of. And we're like, okay, we need a Megan. We taught ourselves what a Megan actually was, because we had no idea what that role looked like. And finally met with Natalie Gingrich, who again might also be watching. And she told us, well, hey, I have this whole pool of director of operations. I actually certify people like this. Like, let's get you some interviews. So we interviewed Megan at some point in December. I don't even remember when, but I do remember that I think we had our first day intensive together on December 27th or something crazy like that. Your kids had been shipped off to the grandparents' house and you happen to have all this time available. And you're like, okay, let's do it. So can you introduce yourself, Megan?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Megan Hansel-Henderson, and it was actually December 26th. So it was the day after Christmas.
That tells you something about both of us.
Yes, it does. They were going to go down there anyway, but so it all worked out is just how it was. But so I'm the director of operations, and what I do at I Heart My Life is I'm really here to support Emily and the entire team. So I'm kind of a lead when it comes to if people have questions or problems, I kind of help tie everything together, the financials, the marketing, the operations, all the tech stuff. I kind of just am the go-to person for everything, and I just try and keep everything running.
Yeah. And you do it with 4 kids and a husband who's a doctor and works 1 week on, 1 week off. Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. And how many pets do you have at this point? 80? Like a zoo?
78. Okay. So I have 5 cats. We just got 2 kittens. And then we have a service dog for my oldest son who has autism.
So can you talk a little bit about deciding to even take this role? Because you clearly already have a lot on your plate. And I think that there's a misconception around people sometimes start a business, they want to work with tons of different clients. And I know that was one of the things you were considering as well, is do I want to devote my time to one company or do I want to diversify? So can you talk a little bit about both of those things?
Absolutely. And that was one of the things, when coming into having your own business and being an entrepreneur, the most common thing that you'll hear is that, you just take on a bunch of clients and then you can make all this money, which is fantastic, right? And then you're burnt out and you can't remember what client had what and where was that again? No, wait, that was the other client. You can get yourself completely turned around sometimes. Even being the most organized person. And it depends on how, the type of role, et cetera. But the one thing that, as I was going through your interview process, I originally just applied because I was like, you know what, it'll be great experience. I already have a lot of business experience as a manager in banking and finance and whatever. But I just felt that the more I started seriously considering this role, the more I was like, you know what, when I look back on my past, I've always been the type of person that I always liked working. For instance, when I was working in the banking industry, I always liked working with one lender because I knew his stuff, I knew his clients, I knew how to do everything for him and how he liked it. And then I started thinking of how I am, and one of my big traits is loyalty. That's just how I am. And I was like, you know what? It probably would be better for me to consider, especially with my family and with everything that's going on just in my life, that just to have one client that can be some sort of semblance of stability, which I don't even know if anybody knows what stability is these days. But for me, that's just the reason why, like that was part of the reason why. And then after interviewing with you and James, I was like, yeah, I'm all in.
Amazing. Yeah. And James, you are such an integral part of that process because I don't think I'm a good interviewer. I'm like super cold. I'm super stone faced. I don't want it to get too close. I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to look for. And so you were amazing at kind of, we both obviously were on the calls, but you did the initial interviews and then I jumped on after that. And so can you talk a little bit about, what in particular stood out about Megan for maybe those people who are looking to have their own integrator or director of operations?
Yeah, I mean, you said it earlier that we'd experienced the people popping in and popping out, and we took full responsibility for that, not really knowing what we were looking for. And I think that what was blindingly obvious that I said earlier that as you grow, the hardest thing is to develop trust enough to understand that no one's ever really going to care as much about your business as you. But if we can get as close to that as possible, that would be great because we believe so much in what we're doing. And so really, I believe when it comes to skill sets, anyone can learn anything. And that really what I was looking for is somebody that was on board from a values perspective. And it was, but wanted to play the long game and genuinely would feel a sense of pride and achievement to be a part of something that is impacting so many people around the world. And Megan had that in spades. And we've learned a lot from mums. And I think a lot of, having coached a lot of mums, there's this misconception that you're a mum and you've got loads of kids, which means you don't have time. But actually, mums are like superstars at prioritizing because of that. And Megan's a great example of that. I mean, it's like, when you don't have any time for what's not important, you get very, very, very good at prioritizing. And so, and anything else that needs to be learned can be learned. And I think that the big lesson was values, attitude, and someone that we can start to cultivate that kind of family feeling. That was the goal from that moment on. And so that's why Megan came on, because she immediately, like Christmas Eve, like giving us all that time, that immediately is like, okay, this is someone serious here, right? And she has been very generous with her time from the very beginning. And that speaks volumes, because this is all about relationships at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then even, right away, Megan, you booked your plane ticket to come to our live event, which was like 3 weeks, if that, after you started, 2 weeks after you started. And that was actually one of the best things that could happen, though, because we actually got to meet you in person and solidify that relationship even more. So that was just amazing. So
that event, you showed up at that event and it was like we'd known you for years and you handled everything. And that was the test. And it was like passed with flying colors. I can't even imagine what that event would have been like without you being there.
Well, yeah. And then Kira's not on here, who's our event planner, but our previous event planner literally got sick at the event and had to stay in her hotel room and go to the hospital. And she just happened to have Kira as a backup person to kind of observe and be that second hand. So then you and Ashley, Megan, had to step up as well and do more than what was expected. Mm-hmm. Crazy time.
It was, but it was fun.
Yeah. And so from there, I'm getting a little bit jumbled because I know because of you, Megan, you introduced us to Kayla. Kayla, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kayla.
Tell us what you do on the team.
I am a tech VA and copywriter, and I basically hook things up and write a lot of show notes.
Amazing. Yeah. And so you and Megan met through another program. Is that right?
I think we actually met through Mallory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing. So Mallory, you want to tell us who you are?
Hi, I'm Mallory. I'm the head of marketing here. I've been here since about February, I think now. And Megan and I were in the same mastermind. We roomed together at a convention last year and we fell in love and have been inseparable ever since. And Kayla was in one of my programs. And before even Megan and I connected, for I Heart My Life, she was looking for a tech VA and I was like, oh, I have the perfect person. And I'm really glad I was right because Kayla's amazing and I can literally just be like, hey, I need this to happen. Go make it happen. And she is at the point where she can read my mind and make the magic happen. So
yeah, I love that. And go ahead.
It's been a really crazy, like, I can't believe it's been since February because it feels like such a long time, but also like I just started yesterday. It's a weird time continuum we're in right now.
Yeah. And I think like more than any other role, well, maybe Megan as well, but your role has been the role I've been doing for 6 years. And so I think that one has been one of the hardest ones to let go of. And we're not completely there by any means. And we still collaborate on a lot of things, but it got to the point where I didn't want to be writing all the copy all the time. And I didn't need to be. We had enough material that we could, pull from and didn't have to reinvent the wheel. I didn't want to be just figuring out all the launches myself. And I knew that I wasn't the best person to do that. And for everyone watching, like one of the points of this conversation is to really talk about getting people into their zone of genius. And what I realized a while back was that I didn't want to be the only person on the team who was like this jack of all trades. I didn't want that role. And there were plenty of other people who were specialists and experts who could step in and provide so much value for our clients. And it wasn't a matter of me not wanting to provide value, but I just knew it's impossible for everyone to know everything about everything. And that wasn't going to serve our community. It wasn't going to serve our clients. So we deliberately decided to bring in coaches into our programs. And I deliberately decided, we need somebody to help with marketing and to be that person who has their strategic background and lives, breathes, and eats, I don't know if that's the right phrase, Facebook ads. And like, that's their jam. And I knew that wasn't meant to be my role anymore, which is why I'm so grateful for you. And at the same time, like we butt heads sometimes because we both like love design and we love branding and like all this stuff. But James will admit, like, you're one of the few people who can be honest with me and strong with me, like you and David Nagel. But that's okay because I need you to tell me the truth.
Well, that honestly has been my favorite part about working for this company. Like, not necessarily the actual butting head parts, but the fact that we've developed this relationship where there's like a mutual trust and a mutual respect. And we both know that ultimately, like, our intentions are so pure and so in line with what we want this company to be. And seeing you shift into this true CEO role has been just incredible to watch, because as you start to like let the reins go a little bit, which we know has been difficult because, like James said, this is your baby. As you let go of the reins, that's when this trust builds, which allows us to be able to have these not even tough conversations, like true conversations, and really changes the dynamic of the team overall, because it's a different relationship than I've ever had with any other client, because we've built that trust backbone up. And just seeing you flourish into your CEO role has just been so amazing. Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because you're already such an amazing coach. I pretty much tell you that all the time. I joke that I should be paying you to let me work for you because I learn so much from you every day. But I mean, you growing into the CEO role has just been really incredible to watch. And I know, I don't want to speak for the rest of the team, but I know for sure they can say the exact same thing. It's just been really, really fun dynamic to be a part of.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And I also know the growing pains behind the scenes. And I always talk about this example, but I remember my sister, she grew very quickly and she's now 6 feet tall. And she was that height at age like 11. And so she would get these growing pains in her legs every single night. And she would be on the bed crying because it hurt so much. And at the same time, obviously that's a good thing. A growth spurt is a good thing. But this growth spurt that I'm in and this stepping into the leadership CEO, it has not been easy by any means, but I know that it's necessary for the good of the company. And that's really what I want to bring this conversation back to is, every single person here on this screen, it's been a deliberate decision to bring them into the company because we want to serve the clients. We want to grow the brand. And I didn't want the company to be like all about Emily Williams anymore, because that takes away from the movement that we've created. That takes away from the whole purpose of it. And so people are going to start to see through the marketing, through the branding, things start to shift. And I'm really excited about that. And I'm excited about, the Facebook page no longer says I Heart My Life by Emily Williams. It just says I Heart My Life. And so we wanted to have this conversation today to also bring light to some of those changes and just the pivots and the adaptation of the company, because it's all for the greater good. And that's truly what we're all about, is asking ourselves, is this in service to the vision of the company? Of course, is it good for right now, but is it also in service to the vision and the clients and the mission? So I know that working with you closely, Mallory, has really helped uncover what that is. And even Maggie here, who's our Instagram guru, she's helped with some of the shifts there, where we now have the I Heart My Life account and we have a personal brand account for me. So why don't I introduce Maggie as well? You want to jump on?
Sure. Hi. So as Emily has introduced me, my name is Maggie and I'm based in the UK. I am the Instagram strategist for I Heart My Life, and my focus really is on creating content for Instagram that's going to speak to our audience and that's going to empower women and that's going to make women think, do you know what? I know I can, I have this feeling inside of me, I know I'm destined for more, and it's to empower them to take that next step in their life, whatever that is, to just feel like they can do it.
Totally. Yeah. And again, I want to champion you because it's not always easy to come into a new company, and you came in like in the midst of like us making decisions about changes. And it's like, let's turn off this Instagram account and make this new one. And we're going to pivot this and blah, blah, blah. And you were just like, okay, let's do it. And you were fully on board. Whereas I can see, other people would be like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, I thought this was a fully formed brand and they knew what they were doing and what's happening. I don't know how you felt. Tell us how you felt.
I loved it because it was definitely a challenge. So I know quite early on we decided to change things. I was like, right, well, we're just going to roll with it. And this is what we're going to do. And, we've not looked back.
Amazing. Thank you, Maggie. And that brings me to our coaches. I want to introduce Susan Brennan here first. So Susan, we met through actually a previous client of ours who went through our iHeart coaching program, Holly Tax. So she basically recommended you. So can you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your role?
Yeah. Hey, hi everyone. I'm Susan Brennan, and I'm known in our community as Susan by Women, because when you share with me a vision or a dream or a goal, I'm going to say, that sounds so great. By when are you going to have that complete? And then to support you, though, I actually help people get super clear on the daily, simple action steps it's going to take them to hit their goal. So we'll do a little bit of mindset work behind the scenes, but mostly just really, really, really simplify things so you actually can bring that vision to fruition.
Right. I love that. And you're a part of our iHeart coaching program and our mastermind. And one of the reasons why we were really adamant about having a person like you on the team is because we do hear that all the time from our clients. They want the accountability. They want that support. They know that although they're fully capable of achieving their dreams, if they have that person by their side, that's going to make all the difference. And so I know our clients love working with you and end up loving the deadlines, even though they probably resist them in the beginning. So I'm so appreciative of you.
Yeah.
And I have to say, one of the amazing elements of your role that I didn't anticipate was just what you bring to the table, because you've been a part of other coaching programs in the past. And so you have so much experience with integrating into programs. And like I said, James and I were the only coaches for about 4.5 years. And so when we started to bring in other coaches, it was definitely a learning curve, but it's just one that I'm so grateful that, we decided to make that decision, because it has made all the difference. And now our clients are fully supported by so many people. And even Mallory is a coach in the mastermind and has been doing some bonus calls and iHeart coaching. And so there's so much support there, so much meat to all of our programs. And again, all the coaches are able to be in their zone of genius and actually specialists at what they teach on.
Yeah. And I'm just going to plug really quick, because I have to. That's one of the things I actually love most about I Heart My Life, is how well-rounded it is. That you get the diversity and you get the brilliance of so many different people, so much experience come to the table that's available to you. And that it's not just this one area that we support in, that we actually specifically and very, I already said brilliant, but very brilliantly, like we can actually speak to all the other arenas. And it's like your whole life can be well-rounded. I love that approach so much.
Yeah. And that was deliberate as well. So I feel like when I started the company, it was, just all about helping women fall in love with themselves and their lives. And obviously it's morphed into working with business owners, but we still want to have the holistic approach, because we know even if someone's coming in for business strategy, they're going to have questions about their health. They're going to have mindset issues. They're going to have problems in their relationships that they want to have help with. They're going to have even, lifestyle questions. And so our big thing is to create a life and business better than your dreams, because it's I Heart My Life after all, which is why we feel like that holistic success approach is so powerful and just so imperative for our clients to create that vision that they have in their heart. And then that leads me to Kristen Westcott. Welcome, Kristen. And how did we meet? Did we meet through Megan as well?
We did, yes.
Megan, amazing connector.
Yeah.
So tell us who you are.
So I'm Kristen Westcott, and I am Canadian. So hi from your neighbors to the north. And I am the business growth and systems strategist with the I Heart My Life team. And so I get to work in our amazing programs with a lot of wonderful women that are doing such great things out there in the world. And one of the things I get to help them focus on is how to figure out what the right strategy is for their business going forward. Anybody who's in the online space knows there are multiple avenues and so many different ways you can do the same thing. And so I get to have those conversations with them to help them focus down on what is the right strategy for them and their business and their audience and their lifestyle going forward, so they can build a business that is going to be congruent with their holistic vision for how they want things to be, and not just proceed with a strategy because it's the most popular thing out there right now. And so we get to have all of those conversations to really kind of help direct them to something so that they can really build that business in alignment with their vision. And I'm so thankful that I have both Susan and James supporting the mindset and the high performance piece, because that is not at all my zone of genius. And so whenever those things come up, I'm able to really kind of turn to them and direct them to the people that can support them in that, particularly when it comes to mindset. As we're making pivots and changes and shifting strategies a bit, a lot of mindset stuff can come up. So that's why I think it's really important that we have all of the coaches on the team that we do, so we can kind of support each other in all those different areas.
I don't know. I've seen you encourage people to raise their prices and shift their money mindset. I've been watching.
I have. I try.
I love that. Yeah. And one of the cool things I think about and unique things about our company, and especially in the mastermind, is you actually do a complete business review with people and they get a one-on-one call with you. And so that's something we were really adamant about when we created the mastermind, because James and I had been in other programs where it was kind of like this one size fits all approach. And I don't believe in that, because everyone has a different vision in their heart and everyone has a different dream that they're bringing to life. And so we have to tailor it to each person. And yes, there are certain things that we know work, but it still needs to be, a deep dive into someone's business and actually review what they currently have in place, so we can help them fine tune and utilize everything they have to amplify the business in this moment and going forward.
Those calls are so fun. I love diving in one-on-one for that session to really kind of figure out what makes them tick.
Yeah. And I love that you said that those calls are so fun, because for me, being an introvert, I actually don't like having a million calls. And I remember when I was starting the business, and the first year I had 27 one-on-one clients at one point, and I was running 2 group programs. And I was like, what is happening right now? This is not sustainable. And I can't work with all the people. How is this ever going to grow? And I think so many people have that same question mark. Like, how do I duplicate myself? Is that the answer? What do we do? Who do we bring in? And our team here, you guys are always telling me, oh my gosh, I just had the best call. I love this group call. I love this one-on-one call. I just talked with this person. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll have the calls. Not that I don't love doing calls, but I can't do 27 calls in a week anymore. And so it's just been so amazing to see that my role shift, but also see that you're getting to do things that you really love. And obviously the clients are benefiting massively from that as well.
It's so much fun to work on this team.
And then we have Marylin, last but not least here. So another introduction through Megan and Mallory, right? Or Mallory mainly, but yeah, vicariously through Megan. So Marylin, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yes, I am Marylin Delahose, and I am a sales and clarity coach here at I Heart My Life. I am a people person. I love to be on 27 calls a week. I love to really
Thank you.
talk.
Dear God.
I love to really get to know our members and the people in the group and who's in the challenges, and really understand where they're at. Because a lot of the times the indecision comes from not knowing which program to pick or what. So like to really help clarify and say, okay, where are you at? Where do you want to be? How can we help you best? And really direct them into the programs, because there's so many amazing to choose from that sometimes people get a little stuck and in their head of where to go next. And I love being almost that bridge and helping them kind of talk it out, because I believe that once you really have that chat, talk it out, like just, ask the right questions and just listen to people, they really come to the answer themselves. That what's really in their heart. And that's something that I was part of a couple of your challenges before I got on the team. And Mallory's like, you need to dedicate time to this. And I did. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. And it's really life-changing when you are all in. So I'm so excited to be part of the team.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And that's one of our main focuses on these calls that you're doing and that James is doing, is just to get people clear, because so many people are in this like place of indecision and limbo, and nothing happens in limbo land. And so whether it's a full yes and you find the program for you, or it's a no or not yet, or let's send you in a different direction because we have another contact who would be perfect for you, we just want to help you get clear on what that path is. So then you can be, taking that action and not moving forward blindly. So I know that you love that clarity piece, which I'm grateful for, Marylin.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Any opportunity that I get to get on a call with somebody from the Facebook group or the membership or something, just to help them get unstuck or figure out what's the next right step, that for me is given the opportunity to do that in this space has been incredible. So thank you.
Awesome. So that's the team. Now I want to open it up to anyone who wants to share anything, any perspectives around the company, around the mission, around the clients. Any thoughts?
I'll jump in.
Great.
To say that what I love so much, and I've had the opportunity to be behind the scenes at quite a few different companies, and I love it. It is such a joy to be in a company where behind the scenes it's fully in integrity with what you're seeing on the forefront, like with everything that you're seeing us produce, all the content that's coming out, like the videos that we're doing, everything that you're hearing and seeing from us, like it's so authentic to what's actually happening behind the scenes. And let me tell you, that's not always the case. And I love that even though sometimes it's clumsy behind the scenes, and we try not to have it be as clumsy for other people to see, we're still real and authentic and genuine and fully in alignment with everything that we're showing and doing and everything that you're seeing. That is actually who this team is. And it is such a joy to be part of a team that's in integrity like that. So
thank you, Susan. Love it. Anyone else? Mallory?
I'll jump in really quick. I also think that Megan, James, and Emily have done a really good job at putting this team together in a way where someone lacks something, someone else like takes it away and blows it out of the water. It's balance is kind of a weird word to use, but it's a very balanced team where we all kind of fit together in this perfect puzzle piece. Like I said earlier, like I don't like to fill my brain with marketing tech things, and Kayla just takes it away and runs with it and does an incredible job. And that's the case with all of us, with the coaches, with the behind the scenes team. We just fit really, really well and pick up where others might lack that skill set. So I love that.
And I think for anyone hiring, you have to ask people, in a time crunch or in a period of time where even, 2 weeks ago, I was able to take a whole week off. And I know a lot of you stepped up and had to do things you don't normally do. I think it's important, like James said, to hire for attitude as well as skill set, and to look for people who are willing to step up to the plate and not, worry if something isn't their role, if they just have to get it done this one time or two times or whatever, and do it in a way where they're not complaining. They're just bringing energy that's of service and wanting to help. And I do think that's really rare. And at the same time, of course, it still exists. But I think for people who are looking to hire, like, get clear on, is this person in it for the long run and going to bring a positive attitude where even if they don't know how to do it, they'll figure it out. Even if it's not necessarily on the bullet point of their job description, they're willing to help when it's required of them. Do you agree, Megan?
100%. Because I think that is the biggest, I do have to say, it's probably one of my biggest accomplishments, that I just love how well this team clicks. And even if maybe there was one person that hadn't clicked and it didn't work out or something, we're just lucky that we got it right on the first time. But like, as we grow, I'm hoping that my record can still stand, fingers crossed. But I just think that when you are hiring, or when you're looking for a team, or when you're looking just to find somebody to help you, skills are important, but it's really all about the attitude and the values of that person. And the rest of it will just fall in place as necessary.
And we had a viewer question submitted as well that I was wondering if you could answer, Megan. People were wondering if they're looking to hire the first person on their team, what sort of role would be priority first?
Wow, this just feels like something I just answered the other day at the mastermind. So I just did a full hour and a half kind of like interaction with our elite masterminders on hiring, specifically about this. So the best answer that I'm going to give you is that when you are hiring, don't look at the job description, because that's what everyone will say. Hire a VA, hire out your social media. Don't do that. Look at what the tasks are that you need done, okay? And is it worth your time? And if you do that and you really take a look at it, you'll get a clearer picture of the type of person you need. That's the shortest way that I could say it.
Yeah, exactly. And so even to this day, I have a running list of things that I know I either shouldn't be doing because it's not in service to the vision. So for example, I love doing website stuff. I love doing design stuff. But as Mallory has told me many times, and I realized for myself, that's not the best use of my time and I shouldn't be doing it. So there are things that you shouldn't be doing because it's not in service to the vision. And there are things that you probably don't enjoy doing. So I would start making a list of those things and then think about like, what is going to be the biggest ROI for me to get off my plate immediately and go from there, like Megan was saying. And it might not fit into some perfect job description that already exists. It might be a role that's tailored to your company.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, when people put out a VA position, a lot of them will start the position and then they end up doing completely different things, right, Ash? You know how that goes. So, I mean, like, yeah. So that's all I have to say about that.
Can I jump in and say something else too quickly?
Please.
Yeah, you're totally right, Megan, especially with the VA, because as a VA, you're like a VA, a therapist, you're a lot of things. But what I was going to say about the list that Emily mentioned is oftentimes people come to me and they're like, I wouldn't even know what tasks to offload. Or I get asked this question a lot when I do trainings. They're like, where do I start? How do I decide what I shouldn't be doing? And so I always give this piece of advice, like get a notebook, get a pretty notebook that you like. Don't do this digitally. Get a notebook you're going to write in, put it beside your computer, your laptop, wherever you primarily work. And for 2 weeks to a month, every time you do something that makes you feel like, oh, this is a time suck. Oh, I don't enjoy this. Or you're looking at a to-do list or calendar and you're thinking like nothing about this is joyful, write it down in that notebook. And then you'll have this entire list. And when your list is done at the end of the notebook, sit down and take 30 minutes and then write down what the type of person or personality would be that you would want to work with. And you have your job. You have everything they need to do and everything you want them to be.
Amazing. And Ashley, I didn't even mention, has her own VA business, which is thriving. And so she's an expert in hiring and really outsourcing, as she's saying here. So she's a great resource. Love it. So I'd love to know one thing all of you are excited about that we have coming up down the pipeline. We obviously have our money workshops that we're doing regularly now, which are amazing for transforming money mindset. And I have to say, like, nothing gets done on those 2 days because you guys are all on the workshop, like taking your own notes and having your own ahas. And I'm like, guys, we can't hire a whole other team to work in the business while we're doing these workshops. Like, I love that you love it, and something's got to give. But we have those. We have our membership will be opening. We have our big live event in November. We have our mastermind, which is consistently bringing in amazing clients who we get to serve. We have iHeart Coaching. So what are you guys most excited about for the remainder of 2020, the year that has thrown us all for a loop?
Well, I'll go first. There's two things. I'm really excited for the next mastermind retreat in October, because it's going to be groundbreaking. And then right following that, the live event that we're doing virtually, I'm just so excited to plan it. It's not even funny. So that's what I'm excited for.
Love it. Who else?
I'll jump
Marylin?
I'm excited. Oh.
Shall I go or do you want to go?
Most likely to interrupt as well.
Yes. Once you've got something to say, jump in. Okay. I'm excited for, there's just the train that we run. And I always talk about this, once people are in, it's just that journey, which is really exciting. So it's actually very hard to be excited for one thing because you just see this progression. But there's something happening next month I'm really excited for because with the world being so crazy right now, we're creating stepping stones, opportunities. And there's the VIP day we've got coming up in August, which is so exciting to me because you get to experience a lot of this team. And it's a real stepping stone into the mastermind. I'm really excited for that because anything where it's an entire day, where it's a deep dive intensive, is such a great opportunity. And I love them because they're transformational. And this particular one is really high level. And so I'm really pumped for that, I've got to say.
Amazing. Yeah. And that's something that we're doing on a regular basis. Should obviously this one move forward as planned. We know it's going to be amazing. And we've been talking to people about them being a part of it. It's for 12 to 15 people. And it's a full day with our team where you get to be coached directly by us. And like James said, it's a great opportunity for people who maybe are newer to the company or maybe don't want a year-long mastermind. They want to get their business reviewed and looked at in a day and move full speed ahead towards their goals. So we'll be sharing more information about that. Thanks, James. What about you, Marylin?
I'm excited for the launch of iHeart Coaching because I'm the last person that's come into the team, and I've really researched and done it and gone through the modules, and I'm just so excited to see that relaunch in September and opening it up to new people and getting everybody really excited for it. So that's what I'm looking forward to most.
Amazing. Mallory?
I'm most excited for the new Coffee Connection and Cash networking sessions we're going to do inside the I Heart My Lifers community. I think so many of us get wrapped up in the behind the scenes and in that workflow that it's really nice for us to be able to take a little break and get to know members of the community and where they're at in their business and have some coffee together and
make some cash.
Make some more money.
Love it. Yeah. And that's happening the last Friday of every month in our I Heart My Lifers group, which is a complimentary group for driven women. So you can go ahead and jump in there. We'll share that link. And it's just a great place to network with other people who are on the same wavelength and will inspire you to continue to move forward with your goals. So the whole team will be on chatting with you and meeting you. Who else? Yeah, Kristen.
So I'm really excited to see the expansion of the mastermind. We've had a few more women coming in and, just kind of trickling in here and there. And I'm really excited to see this next round that we launch the women that we bring into that program, because they're all doing such amazing things and they're really ready to take their business to the next level. So that's one of the things that really excites me that's coming up. And also I'm excited for the live event. I didn't get to attend the event in January. It was just, couldn't make it happen travel wise. So I'm so excited for the event coming up this fall.
Yeah, me too. Great. Who else?
Okay, so I attended my first I Heart My Life workshop last month, which was the 2-day money workshop. And honestly, I was blown away. So I know I was doing a lot of the behind the scenes, but there was so much not only I took away, but I saw everyone else take away. So I'm really excited about the live event that's coming up, because I think, wow, just actually physically being in a room with your community is just going to be so powerful, and it's going to be so electric. So I can't wait.
Well, it's going to be virtual, unfortunately, because of COVID, but it will be electric regardless. And we do have another money workshop on August 10th and 11th, if anyone is interested, which is going to be amazing. Thank you, Maggie.
And technically we will be in the same room because we're doing
True.
it in rooms. So
Same room.
Yep.
Love it. Ash, what about you?
Wow, this is the great thing about I Heart My Life. I can never choose what I'm most excited for, because I'm most excited for it all. If I have to choose, I love events. I love live events. And I was naturally, as Emily mentioned, at the live event last year, and it was like incredible. My whole world shifted. So many people's in the room shifted. It was amazing. So I'm super excited for that. I'm also super excited for the iHeart Coaching launch and opening that up in September. It's such an amazing program, and there's something that hasn't been mentioned yet on this call. We talked a lot about Emily stepping into more of her CEO role and what she's doing now, which is so amazing and so incredible. But if you're watching this, or if you listen to this or watch it after, and you haven't yet got to see the true magic that is Emily Coaching, you have to, because it's pure gold. And I think that so many of these programs are coaching, the mastermind you get access to, or the live event. It's so amazing to see you in that avenue. It's incredible to watch. It's like seeing a solar eclipse, except I get to do it all the time. But so I'm just excited for it all, but I'm really excited for the opportunities that all of these amazing women have that we support and are yet to support and are going to support, to really see you, Emily, in that light at things like the live event, in programs like the mastermind, and to really have you support them in shifting their life. So there's so much goodness that's all the time, and it's all so exciting. So yeah.
Thank you, Ash. Yeah. And I still think about how you messaged me after the January event, talking about the two big ahas and shifts that you had. And I really appreciate you sharing that. And I think, like I said, it's something that you don't think of as a business owner. I didn't think about mentoring the team and how my work would affect the team, which sounds obvious, but it is a whole shift, because I'm not only now working with clients, but also have the team to consider. And we're doing a team retreat next week. And so all these other components where you're able to impact and affect people, it's really amazing, but it's something I never expected. So thank you. Kayla, what about you?
I am excited for when we do get to have live events again, mostly because I need to get away from my kids, but also because I think it would be awesome just to meet everybody in person. But I'm also really excited to see how the virtual workshops continue to grow and change, because they are just amazing. I love them so much. And I'm really excited about the changes in the membership. I think that the way it's changing and shifting is going to be so much more in service to the people that are in the membership, and just meeting everyone where they're at with what they need when they need it. I'm just really excited to see the shifts and changes there as well.
Thank you for bringing that up, because we have a lot of transformation happening there, and the doors are opening for that at the end of August. So people will be hearing a lot more. And that kind of, I'm going to come to Susan in a second, but one of the points that we wanted to make on this training as well is that it's not just going to be me sharing value and teaching. And I know that you guys, a lot of you have seen James, you've seen the other coaches, you've seen Mallory be doing more things, but that's going to happen more and more. And so I don't want anyone to be like, what's happening? Where's Emily? Or, what's going on with the company? We want to be really obvious in that that's in service to you, because all of these people here on this screen, they are experts in their own area and their own, zone of genius. And so we want to gift them to you so you have even more value when it comes to strategy, high performance, how you're spending your time, your energy, your marketing, your Facebook ads, hiring a VA, all the things that are so important and are like that holistic success that we want to help you create. So I have a request, for the whole community. Whenever you see Kristen doing a training, or Susan or Mallory or James, just give them support and make sure that you are paying enough attention and just as much attention to what they're saying as you would, whether it's me or anyone else, because we've handpicked them to serve you and they are already completely vetted, which I love that. When you get into our programs, you're not like out there searching for experts to help you. We bring everyone under one umbrella, and that's a deliberate decision. So I hope everyone gets that and sees the value. What about you, Susan?
Kayla, I'm so with you. I cannot wait to hug every one of you in person. So whenever our next in-person live event, I'm already stoked for it. I'm also really jazzed about iHeart Coaching. Like the next round of it, it has been so much fun to see the breakthroughs and the light bulb moments and the whole my reality just shifted because of what I just discovered about myself or about who I love serving. Like the breakthroughs are insane. And it is so much fun to be part of that and to be witness to it and to be the whole community is pouring into each other. And it's one of my favorite environments to be in, is to be around our iHeart Coaching ladies as they're getting to experience all that growth and all that, getting rid of things that aren't serving them anymore. And it's just everything about it. So if I had to pick one.
I love that. So let's move into our quick Q&A here. So the who's more likely to. So who's more likely to show up with a messy bun on camera?
Mallory or Megan?
I was going to say Megan, but yeah, it's probably me. I have worn my hair curly all week for Emily because I'm trying to let everybody know that I actually can do my hair.
Oh, so it's not because you were on video that was being taped all week.
Yeah, she said her husband was like, where are you going? What's happening?
But this morning he was like, oh, you look pretty. Do you have another training today? So he's learning.
I love that. Who's more likely to ask for a deadline? Susan by winning. Who else has one?
Ash.
Be what? A question or most likely to ask for a deadline? Oh, I love a good deadline.
Who's most likely to ask for a task?
Yeah, Ashley.
Me, I feel like I bombard the team with requests.
Who's more likely to get categorized with a unicorn emoji?
Maggie. Or Marylin.
I love that.
I agree.
Who's more likely to have twins running around in the background?
Kayla.
Amazing. Any others? I'm drawing a blank.
Likely to be disturbed by a child?
Megan. Maryland's kids, they were talking about your husband wanted an order from Costco or something the other day. Do you want something from Costco?
Yeah, they get involved in the planning of things. They make their own to-do lists. I don't know where they get it from, but they're very involved.
James, we established, is the most likely to interrupt, have 5-minute answers, to what we call fly off like a kite.
And has the best hair.
Love you, James.
Definitely the best hair.
Yes.
Best hair, yeah. And okay, so this is a funny story. He was on his retreat with his friends, and I think it was a call with you, Megan, myself, and I don't know, somebody else. And he said he had to get off, and he literally had to pick up his friend and like run around and like do boy stuff because it was so much, what is the word?
Estrogen.
I didn't even think about that. Like, you're literally with girls all the time.
We even have a female cat. That's how it is, you know, and I love all of you.
Outnumbered.
You've got to be with the boys, right?
Yeah.
So poor Devon got picked up and ran around the room for a little while. Thank you, Devon, if you're watching.
But all of our mastermind ladies the other day, they were asking him about the retreat because they said their husbands would love to go on something like that. So, Megan, we have another product.
Who's most likely to want to move on to another product and have another idea before the other ideas have been finished?
Emily.
I know.
Also, who's most likely to send the first Voxer message of the day?
Emily.
Oh my
the fact
God.
that everyone's not in Pacific.
Yeah, I have a picture of Mallory who is laying in bed in the dark, reading my messages saying where I make my best I Heart My Life decision. It's like
6:30 in the morning.
And James is like, that's not healthy. And so, Mallory, you might need a session with James now.
That's like, I get behind if I don't respond. It really is my best decision making.
Amazing. All right, we'll wrap things up here, but thank you to everyone for listening and for being engaged and being so gracious with all of our incredible team members. I hope that this is inspiring for all of you leaders and business owners to know that it's possible for you to delegate and to have an incredible partnership with your team members. And no, it's not always easy. Yes, it's a learning curve, but it's so worth it. And your clients and your company deserve the best of you. And that can't happen if you're spread too thin, if you're doing everything. And it can't happen if you don't have other experts on your team. And so I am just so grateful for all of you here today. And just, I really can't even, I don't think I could have envisioned this 6 years ago when I started the company, just sitting here with all of you and feeling so supported and knowing that you have my back, knowing that I can actually take a week off. Who knew? Maybe even more one day. And I'm just so excited about what's to come. So thank you so much for everything from the bottom of my heart. And I no longer feel like I'm drowning, which thank God is a huge weight off of my shoulders, obviously. Thank you guys, and we'll see you later. I hope you loved today's episode and meeting my team. They are very special to me and an incredible part of the I Heart My Life community and movement. And if you want to work with us closely, go to iheartmylifebooking.com. You can book a call with us. We will personally speak to you and support you in understanding what the next step is for you in your business, in your life, and whatever it takes, we will do it to support you in reaching your goals. So go to iheartmylifebooking.com. We'd love to speak to you, and I'll talk to you next time. We hope you loved this episode. Thank you so much for being an avid listener of the I Heart My Life show. Take a second and leave a review. It would mean so much to us, and we read all of them. And for further inspiration and life and business tips about creating a life that you love and achieving massive success, definitely follow us at I Heart My Life on Instagram and at I Heart My Life Now on Facebook. See you next time.